action.
Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. Back after a week off. Much needed.
Good thing nothing happened.
I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week, we got Tommy.
Hey guys.
And we got Mike.
I love wrestling, and this week I got references. I got a reference for you. Reference for you. We've all got references. Do you know other wrestling companies exist? We do now.
That's so great that you said that, because it's so true.
Okay.
It's so true.
And I didn't know if we were going to talk about that now or later because I wanted to talk about that so bad. So
We will definitely talk about that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was nice to get a little kind of week off. Bernsey, see you there. What's up, man?
Bernsey, my dude.
Excuse me. Apologies if my voice is bad. Shit's in the air. I'm trying to... It's not COVID. I know that.
Also, pollen and allergens. I don't know what else is in your house.
That too. That too.
The Omarion virus.
Right. The Omarion virus. Yes. That's what I've been calling it too. It's so good.
I saw that on Twitter once. Someone did a version of the COVID virus with Omarion dancing as the little spy, and I said, okay, first of all, we are not taking this seriously anymore. Secondly, that's hilarious.
Fairness, some people never took it seriously, but anyways.
Yeah.
This is true.
People might have more interest if you call it Omarion versus whatever the real name is that nobody really cares about. Today, everybody, we're going to quickly, just very, very quickly discuss what happened on Turning Point and Impact Survivor Series and talk about NXT War Games, which is...
lowercase w, lowercase g, because William Regal, as far as I know, has not officially christened this one.
So it's officially NXT War Games. That's how we're calling it? Cool. Got it.
That's what I'm calling it.
That goes with
Might
that.
as well just call it Games of War, but anyway.
Games. Well, first off, there's a lot.
First of all, I'm stealing that for a book title. I hope you know going in.
Nice.
That will be used later.
Better file the copyright right now. We'll also talk a little bit of wrestling news. Obviously, there's been some, right the time we decide to take a week off, there's some wrestlers that got let go. But want to take a break. Just
No.
Yes.
That never happened.
WWE calls it a Thursday.
Yeah. And you wonder how many more are going to be on the way out, too, I got to say. So
honestly, at this point, geez Louise.
Yeah. So, guys, I have caught a few highlights, caught bits and pieces here of Turning Point, Impact Turning Point. Yes. Yeah. Overall, a pretty good show. This, of course, was pre-taped. No real surprises as far as title changes.
Yeah.
I really like the matches.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Moose is interesting, too. He defended his title, and he's going to be defending it at RCW in February, right?
Yeah, the 20th anniversary show.
Yes.
20 freaking years.
How awesome is that?
I told my parents the other day, there's only one guy at RCW who's a fan who's been there going longer than I have, and that's Steve James. So shout out to Steve James. I don't know if he's up watching, but yeah, because we did our shirts. He started going in 2004, and I started going in 2005.
Nice. Nice.
Wish I would have known earlier in my life.
Yeah, right?
Actually, I wish I'd have known earlier that year, because it seemed like I caught the tail end of all the good shit RCW did in 2005. I was like, dude, why did I know about this in like January?
And just real quick, if it's RCW 20, why is that not Sean Hernandez versus Moose? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Interesting. I think Sean's at a point where he's like just doing things here and there, not really too worried about titles, you know. So.
Well, I know, but just because it's Sean.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he'll be involved some way. A referee. Who knows? I know W. Morrissey beat Matt Cardona, and I believe it's been rumored like he's contract's already done with Impact. It was kind of short term, is what I'm hearing. So I think that's kind of smart in their respect, just kind of get his name going and see if he's got other opportunities. But I could potentially see him re-signing with Impact, especially with Ring of Honor shutting down. One big announcement that came out of this, though, was at Hard to Kill in January, Impact's first pay-per-view of the year, we will have the first ever women's Ultimate X match, or Knockouts.
I'm so
Ultimate
excited
X
for that. I'm so open for that. Like, yes.
Yeah. Jordan Grace immediately threw her name in the hat. They haven't announced who's going to be in it, what they're doing with it. I have a feeling we will be getting down to those announcements probably for another couple of weeks on Impact TV. So,
yeah,
but
that'd be pretty sweet.
It'll also depend who the title holder is, because Mickie James is defending her Impact Knockouts Championship this weekend at NWA Hard Times 2 against Kiera Hogan. So, yes.
Yep.
Didn't Kiera Hogan just leave Impact to go to AEW? Am I thinking of the right person?
No, you are.
But she's also working at NWA.
Yeah, but it's still the whole swinging open forbidden door thing. Like, just like,
They're kind of.
Look, guys, we put the doorstop in. The door's open. Just come in and go as you please.
At this point, that's kind of how it feels. It's like this person is signed here. Unless it says WWE, I don't think it matters much.
Well, I get that NWA is kind of the middle ground then for them, but like, did AEW just go, okay, good brothers, you're too much. Go back to Impact. We're just going to keep the super click here.
Right.
Bullet Club no more.
To be fair, if they did do that, I think that was the right call. Nothing against the Good Brothers. I just feel like that might have been the right call.
They were like, Machine Gun, we've seen Sour Boy. Just leave.
So, Tony Khan finally watched Being the Elite. It's like, oh, sweet heavenly God, no.
Question for you guys: would NWA be considered a competitor or competition for no compete clauses?
I don't know.
Hey, how do you mean?
I mean, say we were going to talk later about the wrestlers that have been released, but you think any of them could show up at NWA before the 90 days are up or 30 days are up and start making appearances? Because I don't essentially see anything wrong with it. It's not like NWA has like a big TV presence or is.
Technically they don't have a TV presence at all, so that could be the loophole.
Right.
And I think I think a lot of people could benefit well from NWA because I think of it this way: had the pandemic not happened, and with guys like Ricky Starks and Kingston and Homicide were there, I think they would have been fine there. It just would have been as big a scale as people were used to, but they would have been fine. But of course, the pandemic happened, and Billy Corgan said if you can get booked somewhere else and get somewhere else, great. I feel like NWA is a good middle ground. Great place to have a career if you want one there. You can certainly move somewhere else, but it's not a bad place to be. I mean, their shows are pretty fun. I mean, the production is pretty solid, and they keep it interesting with their storylines. When I could follow it on a regular basis, I thoroughly enjoyed what I was watching.
And I think it also just depends on the wording of the no compete because they are still getting a WWE paycheck during that time, their downside or whatever it's called.
Right.
So it depends. Is it worded just you can't go to a competitor with a TV, kind of deal of a pay-per-view, or is it just you cannot, sign any contract with any other company while we still have you under ours?
But what if they're paid by appearance?
I don't know what the wording is. And, I mean, so many people have talked in the past how, honestly, if anybody had the money to challenge WWE legally, they could probably get out of it. I've heard people wonder if they refuse the payments, if they said, to decline the 90 days of pay. But it's always just seemed like WWE is just such a big company that individuals, outside of special situations like Punk or whatever, can't really afford to fight them in court because they have the kind of money to just keep it in litigation and keep it kind of, just stagnant for a long time. So I don't know.
It just takes one person to challenge a no compete, and I'm kind of hoping that happens soon. Especially they let 80 people go this year, for crying out loud. There's got to be something. It just takes one to challenge it and see if there's any validity to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Impact Turning Point, though, check it out on Impact Plus if you haven't gotten to see it already. A lot of good reviews of it. Like I said, we've only seen highlights. I want to try and watch it, but with everything's production's getting delayed with the pandemic, it's like all the new shows are coming out like right now. So we're just trying to catch everything at this point. So
yeah.
Survivor Series also happened. That was the last time we spoke. Anything of note really that took place? Anything that stand out to you guys from what you've heard? I know that Becky Lynch and Charlotte stole the show.
That's not that surprising.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. It's like that was the thing with Survivor Series. I was like, if I hear something that makes you like, oh, well, I gotta check that out, I'll check it out. But I didn't hear anything like that. It just felt like it was just another show, and that kind of hurts my feelings because it's Survivor. Except for that damn egg. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
There were no stakes to matches. Champion, just a champion. No one cares about brand supremacy. I'm sure there's some really, really intense WWE fans fighting over SmackDown versus Raw. I don't think the majority of anybody cares about that. Where I feel WWE is kind of right now, and I think this pay-per-view, from everything I heard, was a perfect encapsulation of this idea, is you have a ton of talented wrestlers putting on great matches despite what the company's trying to do to sabotage a show. Mm-hmm. And with all due respect, again, listening to Netflix paid them 7 figures to do a dumb golden egg. And I don't know if you heard this added stuff. Apparently, originally, Vince just wanted to make it a part of the 24/7 stuff and have people running around chasing it. And apparently, Netflix and Rock's team or whatever, no, if we're going to pay you 7 figures, you got to do more with that. Which is why Vince himself, apparently, I didn't see it, I've seen clips, came out and made people clap for him getting out of a limo with it, and then did the whole, someone stole it thing. I don't know. Or was that on Monday? No, that was, I don't know.
That was into the pay-per-view and into Monday. It was kind of a mystery.
It was the pay-per-view and then into Monday because they said Sami Zayn stole it. Austin Theory stole it and Sami Zayn snitched on him.
Oh, okay.
Then on top of that, on this pay-per-view, apparently there was also a Pizza Hut paid advertisement match in the tag matches. And apparently the Street Profits, AJ and Almost, there was pizza at ringside and the winner got a Pizza Hut box and Almost won. But then I read stuff and people were posting about it. And then apparently the Street Profits stole the pizza and threw slices into the crowd, which doesn't seem like the best idea if it's real pizza. So they apparently got 2 advertisements into this pay-per-view. So again, you know what you're getting with WWE. I feel bad because there are a lot of talented wrestlers that I care about and love, but WWE as a company just makes it so hard for me to emotionally get invested with them when they show you time and time again they're just a company to make money. And then, again, I know people are going to be on the flip side of AEW, but AEW seems to really care about making their fans happy and, giving them things that excite them and make them, pop and enjoy.
Yeah, but see, and I feel like with AEW, when they do stuff like that, because they have, I'm not going to sit here and act like they've never done advertising for stuff, because they do it for movies, they've done it for, other stuff, that unintentional Domino's commercial that they did with Nick Gage, which I still think is the best thing ever. And Domino's should have ran with that. I don't give a damn how they feel. They should have just ran with that. Man, if I was in charge of promotions, I'd be like, oh no, hell no, we're running the hell out of this. You want to love our pizza? Love it like Nick Gage does. Anyway, but it's when they do that, it's also like a one-off, a match. It's a ton of fun because they'll be just they'll have some Orange Cassidy do it because I still have that mimosa.
Or in all fairness, the Bucks and Kenny, but they're huge nerds, so
yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
but also with AEW, you may have like one segment that's completely an advertisement, but the rest of the show is wrestling matches. Yeah. So there's the difference. It's like you'll get maybe 30 minutes of an ad, but another hour and a half of wrestling. So there's the difference.
Yes. Here's a question, guys. How did the main event end?
Don't even know.
Of Survivor Series.
I thought it was still happening. I'm kidding. I don't know how it ended.
I was going to ask. I know it was Biggie and Roman. I'm pretty sure Roman won.
Roman did win.
Roman won. I don't
know exactly how it happened. I haven't seen it yet.
This makes me feel bad for Big E. Like, he finally gets his big shot, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad all of New Day has gotten their singles run and chances now. But again, there's very little that makes me want to come back to WWE on a constant basis.
I do want to see it just because of Big E. He's having that moment. That weekend for us, we were all day, all night at tournaments, fundraising for my daughter's team. And then Thanksgiving, right? So, hey, Hollywood, just seeing the comments. Thanks for joining. R.I.P. Steve Amos, a.k.a. Jacob Ladder. I saw some pictures of that. Pretty awesome. Happy Ninja, what's up, man? Yeah.
Ninja.
It's sad. I do want to see it, but it's a product of, like we said, what's the point of Survivor Series? What are the stakes? Why is it Raw vs. SmackDown? Like, what is each TV gaining from it? Honestly, you should move the draft into December and have like Survivor Series be somehow related to getting draft picks or I think someone suggested, I think we kind of like teased it last year too. We talked about it. The survivors of the winning team get like the prime spots on the Royal Rumble that comes up in January.
Xavier Woods made that same suggestion recently too.
Yeah.
I also just kind of thought of a funny idea that with the right writing person could be funny. What if the winning side also gets to get rid of like 2 or 3 competitors from their roster? So then there's a storyline of like, yeah, we finally get to get rid of you, whoever it may be. And then it's like
the Chappelle Show racial draft where Condoleezza Rice was given away by Black America kind of thing.
Man, that was one of the funniest segments he ever did.
Oh, his show was amazing.
I fell out laughing. The racial draft, I was done with the title, and I couldn't wait. I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. I don't care what happens next, and it did not disappoint.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just feel like this, and also it's like, to put on my Japan hat again, because of course I'm going to.
Of course.
Like, when Stardom does this thing, like, it's kind of like an annual thing where, like, they have, like, the members of their factions, like, in matches, and, like, whoever, like, loses or, like, is, like, last eliminated has to leave their faction or, go to another faction or something like that. I feel like you could do something like that. Not necessarily that, of course, because they don't have a lot of factions today, but you could do something like that, and it makes more sense. And also, it will make more sense if, and I can't believe we have to bring this up again, if NXT was a part of this! But okay.
In a way now, yeah, maybe, but now they're actually trying to make NXT into a true developmental territory. And honestly, with them having War Games on their own, I really hope it's a good pay-per-view. It's interesting because it's the first pay-per-view of the NXT 2.0 era, How's this going to hold up?
I still hate that.
I hate it too. Like, why do you have to call it 2.0? Just call it NXT.
I've tried to get over it, but I just can't. I hate that name so much.
It's almost like they're saying, okay, what you saw before was bad, so we're gonna do this better. And it's like, no, you could have just called it NXT, rebranded the logo, and nobody would have been none the wiser.
The irony that it had a solid, at least 5-year run of just spanking anything the main roster product was putting on.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you go back and look at all of our highest rated shows, like half of them at least are NXT takeovers, and they're all well above the competing WWE main roster pay-per-view of that time.
Definitely.
And I guess because that didn't beat AEW, which is now competing with main roster WWE, they were like, let's redo this and give everybody ridiculous gimmicks like it's 1995.
I feel like the whole competing with AEW thing was just pointless to begin with. It's like we've said before. They may be competition, but they're not gonna. AEW is not gonna take WWE's place anytime in the near future. If it ever does, that's at least 10 to 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
And that's that's a big if, man, because WCW literally came in with all that power, all that money, and all that steam that they could have done that. They didn't. Now look at them. And if AEW, which I think they haven't done this, and I still preach that they haven't done this, they don't go in with that mentality of thinking that they're big enough to just take them out immediately. AEW goes with the mentality of making the best show they can, and if we happen to be better than WWE, fantastic. If we're not, we're still fun. So.
Yeah. Brandon, I see your comments there. The first two you have there, I'm going to mention that later when we talk about the releases because I think it's a good one to discuss there. Your last one here, Vince is really punishing Triple H for bombing in the ratings and watching his work. Yeah, but that's the thing. Triple H didn't really bomb in the ratings. It was just you put him up against an AEW show, and people were curious about that. So
they literally switched days.
Yeah,
they switched
thinking
days.
They were going to go in there, and that wasn't Triple H's decision.
No.
Every decision in WWE is Vince's decision. Bottom line. So
yeah,
I'll
be honest with you. We because I knew it was going to be available the next day on WWE Network or Peacock. I would watch Dynamite and then either just wait till the next day and watch it. So, I mean, you gave me that option to have it available. That's how I watched NXT. So
and honestly, there was a weird thing with NXT. Not that the weekly show was bad, but even if you missed it, it didn't matter because by the time you got to the takeover, it was just amazing shows. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? I missed a few shows, but I get this, and they're just putting on really good wrestling matches. I'm good.
Yeah. They tell the stories in the promo, so.
Yeah.
If you're interested in seeing Survivor Series, and there are a few good matches, there are a few good moments. I mentioned the Charlotte versus Becky that opened the show was really good. I enjoyed the fact that Kevin Owens wanted to start off for his team and then just walked away. If that's ever any indicative of a wrestler breaking the fourth wall saying, this match doesn't mean a damn thing. Why am I going to kill myself for this team? Fuck you guys. That's Kevin Owens in that moment. So,
fuck, that's Kevin Owens in life, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Now, let's get into NXT, and because Regal hasn't said it, we're just going to say War Games. We're not going to say yell it or anything like that. War Games.
It's War Games, guys.
This is the first pay-per-view outside of, I think there was like an anniversary show where it's not going to have the TakeOver name. So part of that whole rebranding of NXT, it's not a TakeOver War Games.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That is so lame. Oh.
Yeah, it's on Tuesday. It's not a pay-per-view.
What?
Right?
No, it's pay-per-view.
What?
It's on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it is not an official TakeOver event anymore, which I gotta be honest with you, I can understand that. I think the TakeOver thing kind of ran its course a couple years into it. When it started, it made sense because it was like, okay, NXT is taking over WWE Network to show you what we can do. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. But after a couple years in, you're like, okay, we know what NXT is about. We don't need the TakeOver name, but still, I get it.
Yeah, but that wasn't the problem. Yeah. I mean, that to me, TakeOver just became synonymous with like, oh, better watch this because takeovers are always awesome.
Yeah, that's true. But it does make the hashtag easier. The official hashtag is hashtag NXT War Games instead of NXT Takeover or hashtag War Games or
okay,
NXT
guys,
War Games.
As we go through this and talk about it, we're going to play a game.
Oh, boy.
As we go to the match and the competitor from the 2.0 group is there, you got to tell me what their gimmick is on NXT 2.0.
Oh, shit.
Damn it.
Okay.
Damn it.
Oh, God.
Damn it.
Sorry, Brandon put a comment. Kevin Owens is such the Eric Cartman of wrestling. Hang on. Let me get some water so I can do the impression of what he did when he opened that match. Hang on. You guys, let me start the match. Screw you guys. I'm going home. That's what Kevin Owens did. So.
Dude, your Corbin voice is so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. Let's get it started. Let's challenge. I'm probably gonna fail this. I'll be fucking honest.
I'm gonna fail this so bad. Oh my god, I'm not even remotely ready for this game.
Hair versus hair. Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson. Do you want to play the game now, or how do you want to do it? Go ahead.
Are we making picks on this?
I think so.
Because
I'll make picks, but
okay.
I'll say it. I want Grimes to keep his amazing hair, so I just want.
Oh my god! I can't believe not even watching the show, just seeing clips and watching Cultaholic stuff.
Yeah,
I actually know some things. He kind of got his hair cut a little bit a week or two ago by this Duke Hudson guy. Like not fully, but he looks. They cut a little bit of his hair and beard already.
Yeah, I remember them cutting some of his beard. I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
I'm still going with the guy. But anyway, go ahead.
But I'm with you. I want Cameron Grimes to win too.
Yeah,
I want Grimes to win.
Okay, so we're all picking Grimes now.
Okay.
What is this thing you're challenging us? Let's see this.
Do you know what Duke Hudson's character is?
The Duke from Hudson.
I'm going to say he's one of the good old boys from the Dukes of Hazzard.
If the good old boy from... No, he's not.
Okay.
He is a professional blackjack player.
Wow.
Oh, wait. I remember that now. But
Because apparently he challenged Cameron Grimes to a Texas Hold'em contest, and because Cameron Grimes has money and he won.
Pictures about that,
yeah. And then he put him through a table or something.
Okay.
The poker table.
Brandon says Kevin and Sammy are Cartman and Kyle. Duke Hudson
a lot more sense.
Duke Hudson was Brandon Vink on Raw. Grimes is trimmed. Yeah. So, all right. NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Roderick Strong defending against Joe Gacy. This is going to be okay. Here's the interesting thing about this. We have a feeling. I think a lot of us know that a lot of the people that are going to see on this show, if they were hired by Triple H, they're at a point right now where they're going to be released soon, the way things are going. Or if they're not released soon, they're waiting for their contracts to expire so that they can explore other opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Some have been rumored to have already extended their contracts just to get to War Games. Worth mentioning. Now, Roderick Strong. I don't know his contract situation, but I haven't heard any rumors that it's coming up anytime soon. But this is one of those matches where it's like, are we picking because we think this person should win or could win? Or are we picking because we think the other person might be being let go very soon?
We've picked for worse and dumber reasons before.
That's true.
I mean...
It's so sad how true that is.
You know what's sad as I'm reading this?
What's that?
I feel very tribal. Like, I want all my 1.0 guys, I guess, to win. Like, I don't want this new crowd to come in and dominate.
I feel the exact same way, actually.
I want Roderick Strong to win.
Me too. And I don't give a shit. I'm picking him to win too. But go ahead, Tommy.
My only thing is, I know who Joe Gacy is from his indie days. He's not a cruiserweight.
Okay. Oh, God, I can't believe as much as I dislike all this, I know this stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what Joe Gacy's... Okay, well, pick first, JC.
Roderick Strong.
Roderick? Tommy?
I'm going to say Roderick only because of the Diamond Mine stuff going... But, yeah, I'll go Roderick.
Yeah, and I guess the only good thing also I could say, but one of the good things about 2.0 is they've got Malcolm Bivens on TV finally.
Yeah, finally.
In, like, a regular basis.
That's the one of the few good things that's come out of this so far.
Do you know what Joe Gacy's character is?
I don't know anymore. I keep seeing him clips of like pissing people off, but I don't know what he's been doing.
I'm going to guess that like because he's not technically a cruiserweight by the weight, he's like some lawyer or he's trying to like challenge some restrictions or some crap like that to make sure it's like
not
all
a
inclusive.
Bad guess, but not exactly. Apparently, as I think the best way it's been explained, this is WWE making fun of woke culture. So he's like, really like, this is a safe space. And so apparently the storyline is that the 2.5 is biased toward heavier set people. And so he wants the Cruiserweight title to be all-inclusive.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Cultaholic, thanks again for talking about the stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't know most of it. Yeah, so that's apparently what's going on there. Because apparently, I I guess maybe tonight or something I saw earlier, there was like a really big dude. There was a girl in the ring, and he was trying to get them all I don't know, get them title matches or say any of these people should be able to compete for the cruiserweight title. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, if there was an X division title, sure, because there's no limits on that, you know?
Kind of made me wonder if they were going to sneakily try to make that what the cruiserweight title is now.
Right?
So this is now the point that we should all realize that woke culture is now stupid because it's now a wrestling gimmick. And officially something is a wrestling gimmick.
I think it's more like because Vince is conservative.
Yes.
I think it's more of like what conservatives think of people that are woke.
Making sure he gets the Fox News advertising dollars.
Here's what's worse. There's someone who thinks they're woke who thinks like this. Because they're like, well, why can't this person this way? Because it's a weight class. It has nothing to do with anything except for a weight class. Oh my God. Boxing has it. UFC has it.
Yeah.
It's legally the thing that has to happen. Who really cares? But anyways.
Let's see.
Okay.
There should be Ivy Nile versus Joe Gacy. He says Strong signed a new deal long ago. Okay, then I feel a little better about my Strong pick, but then again, I don't mean damn thing. They just let him go, whatever.
Signing a new deal don't mean shit no more.
He also says neither was Samoa Joe in the X Division, Tommy. Well,
hey, X Division declared they had no weight limits.
Other than that crap where they made all X Division matches like triple threats, where they had to be under a certain weight.
Yeah,
I hated that era.
Yeah,
so much.
the X Division title has always been.
Yeah, I miss. It wasn't about weight limits. It was about no limits.
Exactly, which they've gone back to.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And he also says put the title on Sarai. All right.
Now she can be cruiserweight champion all she wants to. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't mind seeing that be a intergender title. That's something WWE's lacking to appeal to the modern wrestling audience.
Yeah. Okay. So honestly, I was like, because like Joe Gacy showed the cruiserweight, and I was like, Roderick Strong was borderline. He was like Shingo Takagi in the junior heavyweight division in New Japan. I was like, okay, you two are borderline at best. At worst, you are at least 10 pounds over.
It's bloating.
All right, NXT Tag Team Championship. Imperium is defending against Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, who, by the way, just beat Legado del Fantasma tonight on NXT to get the title shot. Yeah.
Oh, I know Kyle O'Reilly's gimmick.
Yeah, he's waiting for his contract to expire so he can leave.
That was it.
Yeah. Imperium seems to be the one thing that they're keeping around that they thoroughly enjoy, as far as like a tag team, a stable, a strong stable.
I don't know if Vince knew that they were a part of them for a long time. They were in NXT UK for a while, so he was probably like, I don't think he knows NXT UK exists, because in all fairness, I don't think many of them have been released in these things. Not that I want them to.
Right.
I'm
just saying.
Quiet. Look, they've been looking around the corner. Damn.
He's like, what is this charge on the books for UK? What are we buying in the UK, guy? Nothing. I don't know.
Look,
must be a typo.
We're vested in Brexit. Yeah.
They take that paper away and put a picture of Trish in front of him. Look, it's Trish in the year 2000.
Oh,
you meant okay. Got it. Yeah.
Like, who the hell put that in the budget?
Bark like a dog. Oh, never mind.
Are we all going Imperium, or does anyone think Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner are going to potentially get the...
Do I think, or what do I want? I want Imperium to win.
Okay. Who do you think will win?
I want Imperium to win.
Okay. Same.
I'll love wolf this one because I have a feeling it's going to be O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Now I have a feeling.
Honestly, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it could switch the very next NXT 2.0. Oh God, I hate that show.
Just call it NXT. Fuck this 2.0 shit. I'm calling it NXT.
Hold on, let's get back to the game. Do you know what Von Wagner's gimmick is?
Isn't that the second fight in Mike Tyson's Punch Out after you beat Glass Joe? Isn't that the next person you fight?
I thought he was a guy in Tekken that you had to fight to get to Heihachi Mishima.
Do you remember the special punch you have to do to beat him? No.
It was a star punch. I know you have to do that. Yeah, hit him a couple times, stun him. Yeah. So
as far as I know, Von Wagner's gimmick is he's big and has muscles, and looks like a Viking.
So
doesn't act like a Viking as far as I know. He's just big with muscles.
So everybody Vince has hired since he took over NXT.
Yes.
Cool.
He is the embodiment.
Wait. Go back. So everyone Vince has hired since 1987. So.
He is the walking current embodiment of Vince's fetishes. So.
Oh, that's why they fired Braun Strowman. They found this guy. Okay.
Yes.
Lucky you say fetish. That really makes you look at this match a different way, doesn't it? All right. Women's. Breathe, Tommy. Boring, generic white guy. Brandon nailed it on the head.
God, I just looked at it, saw that comment.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Nailed it. All right. Women's War Games match. Team Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray against Team Dakota Kai, and Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, otherwise known as...
Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, Toxic Attraction, exactly. So...
Remember the Attitude Era.
Yeah. I'm at least happy we're getting War Games matches. I hope these are booked well and actually feel like a War Games match. Because I'm a little concerned personally that this is the first pay-per-view of the post-Triple H era of NXT. And how are they going to book this? How are they going to do it? So.
Well, two things on that front.
What?
A, of course it doesn't feel like War Games because Undisputed Era's not in it.
That's
So
a
there's
big
that.
difference, man.
And then two, on the women's side, if I'm Toxic Attraction, I'm a little afraid because Dakota Kai in the War Games, she's turning on somebody. So watch your knee braces.
Is the most untrustworthy War Games participant ever. So it's like, let alone, I don't care if she's the leader of the.
If I'm Toxic Attraction, I make sure she's first.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't leave her in that cage with me at all. I'm like, oh, you got this, Dakota. I mean, it's Team Dakota, so you got this, team captain.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's like you said, it feels so weird. I didn't realize how much of a difference it made until they made the match and I looked at it like that no Undisputed Era, even members that used to be Undisputed Era are even involved in the men's one. It's like it feels so different now,
When we get to the finals men's match, I'm going to tell you exactly what it feels like to me, but yeah.
Okay. As far as picks go, I'm going with Team Raquel. Partially for Mike's reason. Dakota always turns on somebody, right? That I like the experience there. I know Io Shirai is going to do some crazy shit now, especially. So she's going to be the one that steals the show on this match. But I'm going with Team Raquel. Tommy, what about you?
I'm going with Team Raquel because Io Shirai. And yes, it's that simple.
All right. Mike.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with y'all. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I think it's kind of more who I want to win. They are putting a lot behind Toxic Attraction, though. And when I kind of crack on Toxic Attraction, I don't mean any disrespect to Mandy Rose or the other two. I don't honestly know the other two as well. Obviously being a little bit more 2.0 people. Mandy has obviously always taken what she's given and run with it. Mm-hmm. And apparently they said, go to NXT, get brown hair and kind of become the leader of this group. And she's done it for what I can tell. She's not, Io Shirai level of wrestling. I guess not a lot of them are. Not Kaylee Ray, I should say, excuse me. But she's doing what she's doing what she's been asked, and I can't fault her for that. Clearly, the wrestling talent or the kind of women's matches that we've expected out of NXT, not always there. But I mean, I'm not cracking her or insulting her or the other two. When I do that, it's just really all, again, the WWE and what they've done with it.
Brandon says he's so done with Toxic Attraction. It feels like they're being shoved down their throats, and he's not buying Mandy Rose as champ. I personally am okay with her being champion, and here's why. I try and look, if I want to compare...
You like Mandy Rose.
I like Mandy Rose, but I'm trying to compare... When she got hired, it was through Tough Enough, obviously. She didn't win that season, but she was at least the one woman that showed some charisma, could talk, could cut a promo, and didn't mind playing the heel role. Even if she didn't win the show, because it was the only reason she didn't win the show because it was fan voted, right? Yeah. And she was okay with being the heel. But you look at Mandy Rose, and now look at Eva Marie. Here's why. They kind of started at the same time. Obviously, it's a look. Who actually worked and got better at wrestling, and actually, applied herself to the craft, aligned herself with Paige, Sonya Deville, and has actually earned a championship. Whereas Ava Marie didn't really apply herself, couldn't sell a damn thing in any match, and it was still hated just because you didn't see any improvement from her. Like, there's a reason why she's gone, you know? And
more respect for Mandy Rose than to compare her to the lowest bar possible.
I know, but
I'm
giving her more respect. I'm saying that's what people think of Eva Marie and Mandy Rose when they first show up. They're just pretty faces. How are they going to do in the ring? How are they going to handle this? Mandy Rose could cut a promo. Eva Marie, not so much. Yeah,
Carmella.
Mandy Rose to me has the Trish Stratus kind of rise. It's like where she started off as like, you know, pretty much just a pretty face, you know, look good in wrestling gear, but couldn't really wrestle, but then worked herself at it. Yeah. And I will say the other thing about Toxic Attraction that's going forward is Gigi Dolan, who the former Priscilla Kelly, who I'm just happy is still hired somewhere because, you know, she did one crazy gimmick like one time and everyone like, you know, wanted to like essentially slut shame her for doing something outlandish and crazy because, you know, no one in wrestling has ever done anything outlandish and crazy. Not even Shawn Michaels and Triple H when they pulled their pants down on live TV and mooned like literally all over there.
Yeah.
So
wasn't the mid like 2013 to 2020? Was it a crazy time for indie wrestling and gimmicks that now we're like, oh, remember how we thought that was okay and cool? That didn't age well.
Yeah, when
that's kind of like 1990 to about 2019.
Well, okay,
right?
good point.
It's like, well, that was cool, but that did not age.
But I just meant some of the indie stuff and
indie stuff. I feel like they pushed the limit on purpose just so they could get.
Well, sure.
That's the independence, though. That's the kind of stuff you do. It's you do stuff honestly, not thinking it's gonna go viral. You know.
Yeah, and because I think I know what you're talking about with Priscilla, Gigi Dolan, but there may have been more than one thing. I don't know.
It's the one thing. It's the one thing you can think of, and it kind of came to light too. And when it happened, obviously it went viral for, and some could see the fun in it. Some things it was crazy. It was stupid. Obviously, it wasn't real what she was doing, but it was still funny. Yeah, kayfabe that.
It got people talking for one, which you know. There is still the school of thought is all publicity is good publicity. You know, no matter if it's negative or not. And the thing is, though, it's like I feel like the people who were kind of shaming it were like only focusing on it because everyone else was.
Yeah.
It feels like the only reason people were really talking about it was because that was something to talk about, not because it was actually something really. They were like, oh, how dare she have like that going on? It's like no, it's just a thing to talk about that week. By next week, it was forgotten about all over again. So, you know.
Brandon, he says, I'm going with Priscilla Kelly. Ava can't even slap properly. So true.
Oh, she can.
He does say at least Mandy Rose is better than Kelly Kelly. Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, remember when Matthew Palmer almost put Robert Evans on fire? Yes. One of my favorite AEW matches of all time.
Thank you for bringing that up. That was awesome.
Yes.
To be fair, that was like the culmination of an actual good rivalry in pro wrestling.
And storyline?
Storytelling, that was one of the best.
Like, Matthew, like... Oh, okay. Let's not get started on ACW and their storylines because for whatever it was, they did so many great ones. But yeah,
that was beautiful storytelling.
That whole Matthew Palmer arc, descending into darkness, finally breaking out of it to dethrone Masada as hardcore champion in the scaffold match,
which
Jesus Christ,
legendary. Yeah,
Masada felt unstoppable at that time.
Yeah.
Okay, one last quick thing.
Yes,
and I know we've mentioned this before. There are so many songs that when I hear, I immediately connect to their ACW wrestlers. And Centerfold, god dang it, if every time I don't hear that, I just see Matthew Palmer coming out.
Well, there's two songs with Matthew Palmer. There's the Centerfold, and there's Phil Collins.
Right, good point,
yeah. So, and then anytime
I mix up Matthew Palmer and also Mike Tyson scene in The Hangover with the Phil
Collins
song.
Yeah,
in my mind, it's almost like it's him doing that as he comes out, and like I was like, okay.
And anytime I hear Journey, I immediately think of Robert Evans. But yeah, so
I cannot listen to any way you want it. I have not said that song. I cannot say that song in the past 10 years of being a wrestling fan. Hear that song and not seeing that man go.
Yes.
On the ring, I was like, damn it! That man practically ingrained a step-by-step dance in our heads for like 5 solid.
Don't get me started. Now I'm going to start thinking about his Portia Perez storyline and all that stuff. Like, oh god.
Sorry, it's all good stuff. Though.
I have one funny story about that because remember the Joshi tournament and the DVDs? I bought one. He was actually on the cover. It's like, oh great, I'm signing a cover of a DVD and it's the Joshi show. You know, it was hilarious when I got him to sign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last thing. His Art of Wrestling with Colt Cabana, I don't know, it's probably been 5, 6, 7 years now.
Yeah, I remember it.
Oh, just great. Just a great story, yeah.
Men's War Games match. Team Ciampa, a.k.a. Team Triple H hired us, a.k.a. Team Our contracts are expiring soon. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight against Team Breaker, a.k.a. We should be called the Steiners, a.k.a. Team Vince hired us, a.k.a. We're probably keeping our jobs. Is Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo.
Answer me a quick question.
What?
Does this or does this not feel like ECW Originals versus ECW Sci-Fi?
That's exactly
God damn it! It does.
That's exactly
That's what I have thought since I heard they were just throwing a ragtag group of 2.0 guys together. That's all this is.
Look,
it's old versus new.
Oh, yeah. Brandon, I heard Just a Girl, I Miss Jessica James, and Girlfriend for Rachel Summerlin. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, Brandon, we could go a whole podcast of songs and the wrestlers and the memories. And when we do that, Brandon, you're coming on with us.
You're going to join us for that, for sure.
Yes.
Now,
you and Tina and everyone.
Back to this War Games match.
Yes.
I know, obviously there's no titles on the line. Ciampa's the current champion. Obviously, they seem to be setting up Ciampa versus Braun Breaker eventually for the championship. If this is the last potential time we're going to see anyone with Team Ciampa in NXT on a pay-per-view, they better win. I know you're making plans to move forward and do this, but since wins and losses don't really matter to you, since Braun Breaker's still going to get a title shot even if he loses this match, and he'll probably, if he loses any other match,
he won't get pinned. That'll be their takeaway.
This team should win. This is a dream team of NXT Originals. Ciampa, Gargano, Dunne, LA Knight. Gargano extending his contract to be in this match. I'm picking Team Ciampa, and then I'll be a little upset if they don't win this one. Unless
Stacey, can you real quick put that Hawkeye meme from Endgame on the screen where he's turned around to Black Widow and just says, "Don't give me hope."
Fuck, I need to find it. But yeah, I think everybody
that's literally what I feel right now.
So who are you picking then, Mike?
I mean, in all fairness, I think Gargano is the only one that's literally out the door after this.
Yes.
Apparently, he just extended his contract just to be able to do this show. I don't really know about Ciampa Dunne. LA Knight, again. LA Knight is pretty old, but he's really seemed to find his place right before they switched to 2.0.
Right.
So I don't know if he's necessarily out quickly. Ciampa, again, I mean, I feel like he might stick around to help some of the younger guys. I know he said before he didn't want to go main roster. I don't know if that's still true. Pete Dunne, he's still pretty young, right? Like, him and a bunch of those UK guys, they're Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know what his contract situation is. I feel like, I mean, for what it's worth, there's still a lot of 1.0 people around that they could probably do really well on this if they utilized them. And Pete Dunne is clearly one of those guys. It just depends how far they really want to go into this, like, we're completely changing it all. Because I feel like, kind of like we've talked about, this pay-per-view might be that, like, hey, remember all these old guys? We're kind of moving away from them. Not that they're all going to necessarily be released. I mean, it's always possible, but just that they're going to be less prevalent or lose more often, I guess.
Right. So who are you picking then?
Heart or head?
Both?
Well, heart is clearly Ciampa. Head is Team Breaker. I know what you mean that it should be, but I feel like this is going to be WWE's, like, putting their stamp on the new breed.
Okay.
Officially.
All right.
Hey, guys. Do you know what Grayson Waller's gimmick is?
Fuck.
don't even like. I legitimately did not even recognize his name. This is when I'm completely admitting I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. Actually, this one I don't know what it is either.
He
I
used
do
to
know
run
Tony
the,
D'Angelo.
I was gonna say he used to run the Haunted House of Nightmare on Grayson for years until before it
Yes.
shut down. Is that it?
The street was named after him.
Nice.
Actually,
Yeah.
I thought it was Dick Grayson's great grandfather, and I was like, wow, they resurrected him for wrestling. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's Dick Grayson's grandfather who married Amanda Waller. Boom! Look at that connection.
Nice.
Clap, 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 clap. I respect that one,
From a
sir.
Marvel guy
Well
talking
done.
DC, I'm proud of you.
Well, I love how you guys were connecting Grayson, but I was like, that's a first name. You don't keep first names. So I was like, Waller.
No.
Waller!
Yeah.
No,
Nice.
but my made as much sense as this booking does, so I thought it fit.
Touche. I do have to say, Tony D'Angelo is so hilarious because it's so horrible. He's like a Chicago mobster. And just like the most stereotypical Italian Tony Soprano. Oh my God!
I feel like oh yeah, we have Joe Gacy. We'll show those woke people. Hey, Tony D'Angelo, just be a completely mob guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, he injured Dexter Loomis, like his hand or something, and sent a fish to Indy and him. And Indy was with her new tag partner. I forgot her name. It was like it starts with a P.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, and Indy was like, oh, they sent us this fish. We're gonna cook it and eat it. And her tag team partner was like, no, it's from Tony. It means he's gonna sleep with the fishes. And I was like, oh.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
first of all, while I do respect the Godfather reference, the very audience you're trying to capture has not seen that movie. I guarantee you they haven't seen.
I don't think they've seen The Sopranos, let alone The Godfather.
Both is a tragedy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe analyze this, but that's about it.
Tell me what's your pick on the men's War Games match.
Team Breaker, because
Okay.
I just feel like it's the safest bet on this whole thing. And honestly, okay, really, realistically, to go against what both of y'all said, I want Team 1.0 to lose, because I want all of them to go find something to go do something, to go have fun elsewhere. I want Pete Dunne and Bryan Danielson completely unrestricted to break each other's fingers for a half hour. I want Pete Dunne and Lee Moriarty to have a knockdown drag-out classic. I want Pete Dunne and CM Punk, for the love of God. I want Pete Dunne to go to AEW and literally rip the entire roster in half the moment he gets there, because he's the one guy who can do it, and it's believable. As small as he is, I believe if Pete Dunne went and just elbowed every one of them he would be the one guy who I think could elbow Minoru Suzuki as hard as Minoru Suzuki could elbow him.
I want Johnny Gargano versus Darby Allin. How about that one? You know?
God, yes.
You've got something you haven't seen yet. So
Of course, with that match, the paramedics would need to be at the ring, ready as soon as the match is over, because they will both try to kill each other and themselves to win the match.
I've only got 3 words to respond to all of this.
what's that?
What's that?
6 to midnight.
Nice.
Very nice.
You're welcome. I'll quickly mention War Games. That is our preview of it. The show itself is this Sunday, December 5th at 7 p.m. Central Time on Peacock in the United States.
We're going to be in December already. Jeez.
I know.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
WWE and network everywhere else in the world. Probably gonna be watching it. I don't. I'll be honest with you. This is the crazy part about this. You guys know that TLC was canceled this year. There's no December pay other than this.
They're doing the January 1st thing.
Yeah, there's no TLC this year
I didn't notice that.
because they decided to do day 1, January 1 in Atlanta. So they that's what they're officially calling the first pay-per-view.
I thought it was because tables had been released, but okay, never mind.
I think their contracts expired. They just let them go. I think it was wrong. I'm trying to remember exactly how that happened.
Chairs was in their contract expired.
No.
That's what it was.
I heard Ladders was in a dispute with Chairs because like Ladders was supposed to get a title from Chairs and Chairs was going to trade the belt, but Ladders threw it real quick and Chairs
Chairs and Ladders used to be real close, but when they both tried to be at the top, they just
I heard it was after Matt and Christian left that the chairs just didn't get along anymore. So
yeah, and then candlesticks were like, well, what the fuck? What about us, dude? Not including us?
Oh god, that is going to be like they're going to rechristen the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and then
like, WWE kendo sticks.
Kendo sticks.
Kendo sticks is like, yeah, what up?
And then baseball bats got mad, so it's like, it's pending
WWE
litigation.
said, I'm sorry, baseball bats, you're contractually obligated to Sting.
Yeah.
So
if they re-sign tables and include kendo sticks and bats and barbed wire, it'll be TLC KBB. TLC Kelly Blue Book, basically.
Well, trash cans, I heard, wanted a renewal but wanted more money. But they wanted the money. They wanted the same money Ladders was getting, and Vince said no. So I heard that's why that they are not doing that. So.
Sorry, Brandon just had a corny but hilarious joke. Vince just realized Left Eye passed, so no TLC this December. Don't go chasing walls.
Oh, rest in peace, man.
R.I.P.
Left Eye.
Left Eye. Oh my god.
All right, let's not get
Sorry.
started on TLC because Creep and Red Light Special did things to me at a certain age, and
yeah. OMG, Kendo Sticks pay-per-view. Where's Sheeta? Yes, exactly.
Fair
right.
enough. You know what? Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Let's stick it with WWE. We have to mention this. And this by proxy will probably lead into some of the promos we've seen on TV over the last week because those kind of took the weather by storm. Made Thanksgiving great on the internet, by the way.
Yeah,
November 18th, WWE released 8 more, excuse me.
yeah, I think it was 8.
John Morrison, Top Dollar, Ashanti Theodonis, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, who did a hell of a great video.
Yeah.
Shane Thorne and Jackson Riker, all let go from their contracts. John Morrison was probably the most shocking one of those.
Absolutely.
Maverick, as I mentioned, had the best response to it. And to be fair, he probably had that queued up because he'd already been released and re-signed. So
exactly,
he knew what it was.
I feel like you said, he made that probably when they re-signed him, just in case. Like, I'm not gonna be here much longer, so
yeah.
Let me go ahead and get this one in real quick.
If not then after like at least the first wave or second wave, he's like, you know what? Let me bust that video back up and update it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Quickly, Bina just says, "Damn, Mike ain't too proud to beg." No. Such great TLC references. That's so good. Anyway, this brings the grand total of released superstars to 80. 2 less than the number of players the Tennessee Titans have used this season, which, by the way, broke the NFL record for most players used in a season based on all the injuries the Titans have had.
It is literally more than Impact has under contract.
Yes.
I feel like it's got to be more than a lot of companies have under contract. Like,
well, I mean, especially because if major companies is WWE, AEW, I mean, it's got to be more than like NWA.
For sure.
It's definitely more than ROH now. So,
New Japan doesn't have this many people. Like legitimate. I'm not even like trying to.
You might,
it's possible.
Like, New Japan doesn't have this many people on their roster. Like, I mean, they could now, but yeah. So.
The thing here is, yeah, like Morrison definitely. It's. I feel like Morrison's a guy that you should always have around. Like, he's just so versatile, and you can do anything with him. So basically, Hit Row was weird because first they released a female from the group right before they came to the main roster.
Yes.
And apparently there was some from what I've heard and I've been hearing online, Top Dollar's pretty vocal. He's not one to hide and follow the company line if he doesn't believe it. So apparently they complained about that, and then he got into a rap battle thing with the Maharaja. Jesus Christ.
Jinder Mahal?
Thank you, Mahal. And Mahal said some things about, like, black people in general. He went back about some Indian things, and apparently some of the things he said about Indian people, some people found offensive. Mahal said he was fine with it. They were cool with each other. They said that wasn't a reason, but apparently there was some stuff about that. He was, like, defending himself. But even the rest, like Tegan Knox, I know she's had some injuries, and I know you don't really care about women anymore, WWE, but like
But she's
Again,
been like a name in the women's division, you know?
Yeah,
So-
she was.
she was in a tag team with, like, first you had in NXT, you had Ember Moon and Shotzi.
Yes.
Then for some reason you bring Shotzi and Tegan Nox to the main roster. So you break up that tag team, which honestly, Shotzi and Ember were starting to really grow as a tag team. I always feel like when you follow them on social media, they were becoming really close just as friends, spending a lot of time together.
Right.
Of course, Ember got released in the previous wave. Then you just break up Shotzi and Tegan. They want a tag team title match for the women's titles, which they never got. And then out of nowhere, Shotzi comes back solo and you release Tegan. And it's just like, it's weird. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
And Jackson Riker, I don't want to say, like, I'm happy he got released. It was really frustrating that his online comments got the Forgotten Sons in some hot water and heat. All the rest of them got released.
Except for him.
And he stayed there until recently. And, people were saying he had backstage heat for all of that. And they were trying to make him a face against Elias. I get it. He's big with muscles. It's not 1984 anymore. People are into more than just big with muscles.
You actually have to wrestle now. And you can be big with muscles and wrestle.
And entertain. And not be boring.
On some level, some of the newer audience wants to relate to a character. Relate to what people have gone through. You know?
Well, apparently around half this country probably can relate to him, but...
Sadly.
Politically, yeah, but that half is not like this muscle-bound dude either, you know?
My thing was like, you got guys who were big and relatable. You had that with Braun Strowman. The fans were starting to relate to him because they found out, oh yeah, he's actually kind of funny. Like,
yes.
But one of my favorite moments with him was when they were doing the mixed tag challenge. It was him and Ember Moon against Alicia Fox. I forget who she was teaming with, and he took her hat and put it on and said, "I'm the captain," and she started screaming.
Yes.
And he pointed, and Ember Moon hit the Eclipse. I was like, "That's hilarious!" I was like, "This guy's hilarious." It's like they get that. They get someone who's big, athletic, can connect with the crowd, and then they either change his gimmick and then get mad when he can't connect with the crowd.
Look,
yeah.
All the Mixed Match Challenge ever told me is Vince was totally not booking it. So
Yes. Definitely.
I could not agree with
They had way too much fun on those two times they did it to believe Vince was booking any of that.
Yeah.
I feel like Miz and Asuka legitimately became good friends because of that.
Strowman and Alexa when they were the tag team together.
I feel like that they're the kind of soulmates that are just friends, like friendly soulmates. Like
Yeah,
they
no, I know what
just
you mean. Yeah.
right away. And I think Ember Moon, I think they should have all formed a faction. They should have all formed a faction.
Brandon mentions crazy that Riker was in 2K20 and not Blake and Cutler. Another thing you should mention that too.
I remember that.
As far as the no compete things, the 30-day for the NXT talents that were released, 30 days expires December 18th, 2021. The 90-day no compete, which obviously applies to John Morrison, and I think Drake Maverick, if he's considered main roster.
I think he is. I think all of these people are technically considered main roster now.
Okay.
Shane Thorne, no.
Shane Thorne, okay.
He was in Disruption, and then apparently he came back for a dark match as like Kangaroo Jack or something.
Yeah, this is how little Disruption affected me. I forgot that would ever happen. I legitimately forgot like that. Oh my god, I forgot this. I'm not kidding. For like a few seconds there, totally forgot that was ever a gimmick.
I was about to call him a Jeff Jarrett old word he used to use, and that's not what he was called. It was Slapjack.
Yeah, no, it's Slapnuts.
I was about to call him something else, but I was like, wait, that's not right.
I hope Shane Thorne goes back to Japan and teams with his old partner and reforms the Mighty Don't Kneel. Rock was in that, actually.
Yeah.
The 90-day no compete on that is February 16th, 2022. It's interesting because we mentioned that Hit Row got called up and then let go. So it's like, did they call him up so that they could release him and hold him for 90 days? You know?
Yes.
Did they do that also to make sure they were getting paid through the holidays? Because if you're on a 30 days, it expires and you still got to buy Christmas gifts, you know? So
I'm sorry. WWE hasn't given much to believe that. If it happened, cool. I'll apologize. But their concern for their superstars at the time of year doesn't seem like it's that much before.
I'm kind of with Mike on that one.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's their biggest concern right now.
Now, the reaction has been surprising. Obviously, Taya Valkyrie, formerly Frankie Monet, she also got released from WWE. Her husband, of course, is John Morrison. And she has basically made it on social media that they were lied to. And they don't care about if you work for them. They're just worried about the bottom line. Morrison, for his part, did put a video out on social media finally discussing it. Didn't really say anything bad, but you could tell there's some anger in his voice. You know, he had plans. Strowman Alexa Athena could be a King of Fighters team. Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a King of Athena. But obviously, this kind of spurred some stuff. We know about, it was the talk of the wrestling world last week, the CM Punk and MJF promo. The face-to-face.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Something we had been discussing. I mean, some great shots in there. You're a less famous Miz. You're just waiting for Nick Khan to get married and have a daughter so you can marry her to be famous.
Tony Khan, yeah.
Tony Khan, excuse me. Sorry, Tony Khan, not the other one.
Do not speak of that.
I apologize. It's late. And you see up there, you're thinking the strongest of the 4 pillars, but yet, my personal favorite, you don't realize you've been replaced by Britt Baker.
That was my favorite line. I have replayed that at least 10 times.
Yeah.
I love the Photoshop jobs on Twitter afterward, by the way. Good job,
yes.
I keep saying, if they make that an actual shirt, I'm buying that.
I love more Britt Baker retweeting those and being like, AW, put me on the shirt.
Yeah. Now, MJF held his own.
Yes.
Obviously, there was a little low-hanging fruit, as Punk said, but then he said, you're always second best to the you can't see me, man. You're always hustle loyalty, respect. And then
hustle loyalty, respect thing I thought was fantastic, was a fantastic line.
Even referenced the King of Kings, you know? But the crowd reactions are great. I did see a video where a guy was sitting front row recorded the whole thing. So you can actually see how they responded to each other's pot shots. Yeah. I would love to know how much of what they knew they were going to say to each other, and how if they like backstage were like, yeah, that was awesome, you know. So
I've got to feel like maybe they told him to go in a few directions, but I got to feel like mostly that was them.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you would naturally bring up Miz in the context of putting together a promo. Like, I don't think anybody hates Miz or was trying to like crap on him or get him over either way, but in the context of here's this young guy really good on the mic, I think it was really obvious to Punk, like, oh, okay, this guy, you know, talks a lot of trash and you know his mouth's constantly moving, and you know that's kind of Miz. That's what the Miz character had been.
Yeah,
it kind of is for such a long time.
But they did their research too, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
MJF mentioning you said you couldn't make change doing it on the couch, yet you did it for 7 years, and he had mentioned that in the WWE Blu-ray. And then
but I don't know if it's research as much as a lot of that stuff is pretty well known if you're in the wrestling community of wrestling fans.
I did not know MJF was on the Rosie O'Donnell show as a kid.
Oh, AEW's talked a lot about. They've mentioned.
I guess I missed that.
I actually missed that. I missed that too, apparently, because like I was like what? Then I saw the picture, which was hilarious.
We saw the picture. Tina Googled it. We were just laughing about how he found that reference. I was like, that is so great.
I follow way too much wrestling stuff.
Yeah, I know.
We've been doing the show for 3 years, 2 or 3 years now. So I think
3 years.
I think you're safe for that's kind of all of us.
Yeah. Now, Edge and Liv Morgan.
Hold on real quick before we move on. What I wanted to say and what I've been thinking since the thing is, like, for me, I felt like if you were going to call a winner, I feel like Punk won that, especially with those Britt Baker and Tony Khan lines.
Yeah.
I think MJF definitely hold his own. The one thing that I feel lost a little bit for me, and I know he was doing it so he could lead into the UFC insult, but I feel like if you're in a promo battle, when you literally say, I'm about to verbally destroy you, I feel like when you say it, it's kind of like, okay, just do it. You know what I mean? It's a little thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm about to verbally destroy you. I was like, oh, okay. And also, you know, I make the joke about references, and I know we're going to talk about the other references from Raw now. I kind of wish you would just say the names, though. Like when Punk just said, you're just a less famous Miz, as opposed to, remember the Trips guy and the HL and the Hustle, Loyalty, Respect? I don't know, like, I wish he would just say the names at this point, because...
Yeah.
I feel like he did that because Punk is safer than he is, like, you know, MJF can't get away with as much yet. And I also feel like...
so, yeah.
And I feel like when he said the verbally destroy you line, I feel like that was that same low-hanging fruit that CM Punk mentioned before. And I feel like it's been MJF's MO because, like, of him just saying what he's going to do. Like, when he said he'll beat Darby Allin with a headlock takeover, I feel like he just goes for that kind of thing, whether it's cringy or not, because it's cringy when he does it. It's cringier if he backs it up, like with the headlock takeover thing. That was the cringiest ending to a match I've ever seen. But it was also the greatest match probably of his.
I'll follow you because it's perfect heel heat. Because it's not cringy. It's perfect because he clearly cheats. You know, like with the Darby Allin thing, and then does it just to. Yeah, no, I got you.
But I see your point. I see your point. It's just like I feel like that's just his MO. You know?
But also, he's completely right. He's like 25. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I completely see him being at the level of Punk, going down as one of the greatest promo guys of all time if he keeps on this path. Because as much as I dog on him and stuff, he's clearly really good at what he does. And there is something about him when he's on the mic that it just... However he practices, whatever, it just comes naturally to him, and you just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
So bad. And that's doing his job so well.
I think he held his own enough on this to, obviously they're going to have a match at some point, and I'm
hoping it's not a Revolution. I really
I could see MJF winning, because I feel like they're going to prime MJF to be the guy, potentially, to dethrone Hangman Page.
I feel like that's why it won't happen until Revolution, because they'll drag this out as long as possible.
Which is fine with me.
Honestly, with the money involved, don't you kind of want them to? Like it's that made this past Dynamite like just must see TV. And the fact they put the whole because like they very still put the whole segments up on YouTube, but that was so good. Tony Khan was like, "Screw it, put the whole damn thing on YouTube. I don't even care anymore."
And it was smart too, because people were either at home watching because they're off the next day for Thanksgiving, or people are thinking, well, it's the day before, we're waiting for the holiday, I'm getting to bed, whatever, I'll just watch it later. But they had this segment and it just went viral. It was the talk, and not people had to watch Dynamite to find out what was going on when they might not otherwise have been. You know? One
of the good things that came out of this, someone said it, is like, first of all, AEW very seldom starts off their show with segments. They do matches first. They very seldom, so they never do that. So when it happened this time, it was a big deal. Yeah. But also, it was an example of a 20-minute segment that was all talk, no wrestling, that legitimately had you gripped the entire time. It was like, and I was like, thank you. This is how you do it.
Yeah,
all they did was talk, and it was like one of the best 20 minutes of a segment I've ever seen in pro wrestling.
Yeah, it wasn't that horrible tenure of Raw where Triple H would come out every Monday and start with a 20-minute promo. You're like, let me check back at 8:25 when they might actually start wrestling.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or the Authority would come out to begin with it.
I know everyone by now has probably already seen it, but go back, look on YouTube, look for like fan videos of it, and just watch the look on people's faces when some of these like punchlines, like these jabs are made. It's so great. Then when you get a reaction like that, it's amazing. Now, WWE for their part, obviously, we know now Edge made a reference, talking to Miz, they're using your name to get a cheap pop on another show. Yeah, maybe, but it was an accurate description of MJF if you think about it. And him also saying you're more concerned about what you're doing next, to the point where while you're gone, your friends are getting fired. Okay.
Like that.
Huh?
I don't like that.
Yeah, but I'm going to get to that too, because Brandon mentioned it. Later on, Liv Morgan, who was setting something up with Becky Lynch, saying, you're all this greed and everything, your greedy contract is the reason my friends are no longer here. Now, Brandon said, a few comments back, he said, after firing Athena, Mia, and Angela, my investment in WWE is long gone, and WWE mentioning the releases on programming, throwing their talents, is a really insult in their programming. Now, first of all, we're talking the releases. It's never a good thing when someone loses their job, especially with what we're all dealing with. You know, God forbid anything ever happened to us personally, but this is their livelihood. For Edge to be mentioning it in a promo, it's borderline. But Mike, you said you didn't like it. What did you like?
No, because look, I know, and Edge is an older school guy. He's from that Attitude Era, and into the Ruthless Aggression. Those guys had so much more freedom on the mic to talk,
right?
And Edge is just good at it because he's always had to be. His promos are great, but the reason I don't like either reference is it because it completely takes the heat off of WWE. Mm-hmm. It's like when the Authority came out on Raw years ago and said, Commissioner Baron Corbin is the reason these shows suck. You're admitting what you do, but you're not taking responsibility as WWE, and that's some BS. Okay? And it is an insult to you. I'm sorry. Like, I know I don't want to hear, back in the Attitude Era, they used to... Yeah, I know what they used to do. I've been watching wrestling for 30-plus years. We've evolved as human beings and fans. These people sign contracts with you, and you released them, and you've been releasing them in droves over a pandemic, over a time when the global economy and things are uncertain. I don't want you to put a storyline to that and blame wrestlers in kayfabe for people being fired. I think that's cheap. And again, it's just another tick on the list of things that makes me not want to support WWE as a company. At least man up and say, hey, you know what? We fired them because we just care about money. We've made more money than ever this past year. And then we also released them because we're cheap and we only care about money. I don't like that.
I didn't even think about that like that, and you're actually
Me
right.
neither.
Yeah.
You're very true.
I remember seeing a comment of people saying how quiet crowd was when Edge said the cheap pop line. And I said two things about that. Because I think the person who said was trying to be snarky is like, I guess not everyone watches AEW. I was like two things about that. One, of course everyone doesn't watch AEW. They haven't been around as long. They have a very impressive viewership, but a lot of people who are WWE fans also don't watch AEW. That's a fact. And I was like, and two, that doesn't mean that CM Punk's line was any less of a punch. I don't care if it was a cheap hit. That punch worked.
and for that part of it, going back to the Miz line, I have no problem with that saying that you got guys in other companies mentioning you live rent free in their head. I think that's a great response.
Yes,
wrestling wise, storyline wise, to that being used. Like I said, when we were talking about earlier, I'm sure they didn't mean it as an insult to Miz. The fact that you are mentioned in another promo tells you that you're relevant enough in the wrestling game to be a reference to, So I have no problem with Ed saying that at all. I think that's a great response to it in general. That part of it, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The release stuff, though, yeah.
I feel like the line from Punk wasn't really like you said, wasn't meant to talk down about Miz, because that just Miz is a great talker. I mean, he's a great promo guy, and he's a great wrestler too. But promos are his bread and butter, because it's one of the things that he has excelled at beyond, I'll admit, most of the roster. He can talk a promo out in a second, in a heartbeat. I think and I think in a way it was almost kind of a compliment from Punk to MJF in a way. It's like, you're a less famous Miz. You're a good talker, but no one knows who you are. So.
Yeah. Now, to Morrison's credit, I mean, he could have reacted. He could have taken it as an insult, like you said, Mike.
Yeah.
He did tweet out, I think shortly after that promo, he said, "Hey, Edge, high and dry. Hashtag Donnie Drip Drip is never not wet. Hashtag the Flood Stud. Hashtag America's Moist Wanted.
Oh, God.
By the way, when you jump into Miz's water, be prepared for the slaughter." So, I know it's a good thing. John and Miz are great friends. We've seen that on Ms. and Mrs.
Right.
They're close, also with Dolph Ziggler. So I like how he spun that to get it back to the thing. It's helping Miz and Edge's feud right there. He's helping his friend. Props to him. If you feel slighted by that, I would think that maybe Edge or Miz says, hey, we might mention this, just letting you know.
Yeah. No, that's between them as wrestlers. Yeah, no, I understand, and I think they're all professionals, and soon to be Johnny Dynamite seems to always be.
I was thinking that someone said he needs to go and just get either Johnny Dynamite or Johnny Elite or Johnny Rampage.
Johnny Mundo.
Ooh, Johnny Rampage.
Johnny Rampage there.
Rampage
yes.
Cool.
I like that. What would he be in NWA? Johnny
Hard
Times. Johnny Hard Times.
Johnny Hard Times.
Yes, let's go there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking Johnny Old School, but I'll take that.
That'll work too.
I was gonna say Johnny Alliance. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
What's the name of their show? He would either be
Johnny Power.
Johnny Power. There we go.
Or Johnny Surge or
Johnny Power. I like it.
I want him to go everywhere and just change his name each time. I just want him to keep doing that.
I don't fully have an issue with the Edge promo only because I think that's something Edge came up with on his own. He's that old school, like you said, Mike, but I do understand your side of it. If Liv hadn't said something, I might believe you, but the fact that it was done twice. And it's interesting because there was a lot of backlash, surprisingly, from people backstage, and so from other former wrestlers and current active wrestlers about that, to the point where if you go and find Liv Morgan's promo on YouTube, they cut that line out where she mentions her friends getting fired. So they did get some feedback, at least. Now, granted, if you try and find it now in their archives, they cut that line out, so you won't see it on their YouTube page. But if you got a DVR, you'll see what the full promo was. So they, at least, from what I understand, got some feedback from people that were in the company, were not happy with that for one reason or another. So, and I don't believe Ruby Soho has responded yet to it, but I don't think she needs to.
I don't think she will.
Her
and Liv are
close.
I mean that whole Riot Squad, the way they bonded with each other. She would probably do something very similar to what Johnny Johnny Morrison did.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would play along with it to help Liv out, because that's the kind of friends that I think they would be. So.
And let's not forget the fact that Liv and Ruby ran into each other at an airport.
Yes.
Not so long ago, we were just putting out videos, happy to see each other. So
it's like Mike's always saying. Ruby's just the most wholesome event happening in wrestling right now. Period. I feel like it's like, and I also feel like you said, Mike, about the promos. Like, it does take he helped the company, which isn't fair. But I feel like a bit of her own stuff probably did slip in there because, Sarah and Ruby were established wrestlers before they got to WWE. They knew the ins and outs of what to do in the ring. Liv was the rookie. Yeah. And they took her in, and I'm sure they showed her a lot, and happily. I'm sure there wasn't no mouth, and she's probably feeling like she probably has like I can't call it survivor's guilt, but I can't get another better term for it. Is like the people who did this for a living on the indies for years got released, and she's like, and I didn't.
Sure.
And I'm sure she feels better knowing that Sarah and Ray got that.
Got a family.
Adorable kid. That kid is so cute. Ruby is cheered out of literally every building she's in now. Like friggin' All Out would have collapsed as an event if she wasn't the Joker when she came out. But it's like, I'm sure she's having for them now, but she probably still has some of that guilt sometimes, thinking that they had to be fired in the first place. And she's still there, and now she's in like the main event scene. She's getting title shots. She's like, well, why am I getting this and they're not?
And not very many people that just go to AEW are thrown into that title picture too. Like, she won a battle royal and got that.
Yeah.
Also, apparently on her resume is Eddie Kingston's personal holdback person, which that's not an easy job.
She's the Eddie Kingston Wrangler. That's a poor woman.
You know what? I noticed when he got attacked last week by 2.0, she wasn't there. Things got out of hand.
See, When she's not around, bad things happen.
Exactly.
You know what that means? More wrestling needs? Ruby Soho. We've solved the mystery.
Swinging this back to everyone that got released, any predictions on where you think they may go real quickly? I'm going to say Drake Maverick probably goes to AEW. His wife has been on AEW Dark, so I wouldn't mind seeing him there.
Yeah.
Morrison's going to go wherever him and Ty Valkyrie decide to go. They can pretty much ride off in the sunset together.
Yeah. I feel like they can just do whatever I feel like they can start their own promotion and it would be successful. Maybe they'll show up in John and Grisham's Terminus.
I would like to see them back on Impact. I think they fit in great there. That's a good spot for them. As far as everyone else, it's a wild card. Yeah.
I feel like Drake Maverick could be a producer, like especially for like AEW. I feel like he's business smart enough to know how to help get people over. I feel like that's been his MO his whole career as well. I feel like Shane Thorne needs to go back to Japan, either to Noah or New Japan, and reform TMDK, and just get that clout back that he had there. And I feel like I am praying, fingers crossed, praying to the Lord on high, at Hit Row. I don't care what name they use. Go to AEW as just this super cool action. Just do that. And I also, in a perfect world, Shane Taylor Promotions would show up there too. And the first thing they both would do is fight each other. Like, just right off the bat. Just like, no conversation even. Just like, charge at the ring and just start hitting each other. Like, yes, this is what I want.
Mike, any predictions on these?
I mean, Tegan Knox, I think she's already gone back to her old name. Was it Nixon Newell or something along those lines? I feel like she might be, again, AEW's women's is starting to grow. She's an amazing talent. Their Impact easily. I feel like Maverick would actually probably go back to Impact. I don't know. He had a pretty good run there. I agree with Shane Thorne. Like, I think he needs to go back to New Japan. I think the TMDK, okay. I think that would be great for him. Jackson Riker, I think, might be selling My Pillows soon, from what I hear. I don't know, but
wow,
I don't know.
We'll see him on the campaign trail next year, probably too.
Probably.
All right. Thanks, guys. And real quickly, off the top of your head, is this the last time we get some releases before the end of the year with 1 month to go?
I hope so, because
no kidding.
I mean, I feel bad because we were joking when the first round happened. It was still kind of funny when the second round happened. It was not funny anymore. When
there was no funny at any point, but
I mean, not
I know
funny.
What you mean.
It was like we could make jokes about it. It's like, oh, they're so stupid. But that was just like, oh God, man, what the hell?
50-50?
Okay.
I'm really hoping no one gets released around Christmas time, which is literally tomorrow. But
I mean, I agree, but
I mean, I've already got the Charlie Brown tree up, so it is kind of Christmas time.
They're getting some money during the 90 days, so it's not a complete.
Yeah, that's true.
You have no. I mean, I'm not trying to justify. I hate it as much as anyone, but at least there is some income coming in, not just a complete. You're out on your butt.
I just really hope, whatever line they're trying to hit, that they've hit it already, because this is just depressing at this point, man. It's like, especially with a lot of them, like, I don't know who posted, I forget who posted something, it might have been after Brandy Lauren posted, like, after she got released, I forget who it was posted that said, I said the worst feeling in the world is helping a friend move out after they just moved in or something like that, and I was like, oh, God!
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, because a lot of them have to move to Florida for this, and it's like, that hurt.
You uproot your lives for this, and then, they just take it away.
Yeah, I really hope this is it. Like, at least for this year. Like,
I have a feeling we're gonna get one more big set, like middle of the month. Sadly, and at the very least, they're. I try to look for the positive in things. We said for years how mad we were that WWE was trying to hoard talent. At least they're letting them go now, right? And thankfully, this is happening at a time when there are places for them to go, and that's a good thing. It's in an era when you really have to build up your own brand too. So
I'm holding out hope that Tony Khan buys Ring of Honor. I'm going to tweet at him again.
Let's hope. All right. With that, we'll move into our 1 minute warning segment. Mike, do you have something for us this week?
Sure.
All right. Whenever you're ready, sir. Set and go.
So, as much as I don't watch much WWE at all right now, I will say, Bayley, we miss you. I love to see the videos you post of your recovery. When you do return, I will find a way to watch for a little bit. Um, I obviously never want anybody to lose their job, but I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago. At some point in your career, I would not mind if you, maybe as Pamela Martinez or your luchadora character that you originally started with in NXT, showed up in a few other places where the atmosphere for women's wrestling is much better. Because you deserve it, and you're really awesome. And with all the great work you've done on WWE, I would assume they wouldn't think about releasing you, but it's WWE, so it's not 100%. It's not 75%. But but again, just keep working. We look forward to seeing you when you get back. Got the shirt. Ding dong.
Ding dong.
You're going to be cheered out of the building. I don't care how much you try to be a heel. Just accept it.
Yeah.
You're going to get the Road Warrior pop, if you will.
I fully expect her return to be at the Rumble. That's my prediction.
Okay.
That would be awesome. I don't know where she's at. I know they showed her walking without her crutches a few times, but
yeah,
I don't know if she's kayfabing part of the videos or to keep people guessing or not. So,
Tommy, you got a 1 minute warning this week?
I actually don't think I do. I think I'm good this week.
Okay. I have a quick one, and this one is literally news that we got about a few hours ago, and the reason I'm wearing this shirt too. And it happily, in a weird way, coincides with the next 7 days on the calendar because December 1st through the 7th is Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week. Happens every year, first 7 days of December. And Big Swole made the announcement on her Twitter that she has asked for her release from AEW. And I, unfortunately, have been dreading this moment because I had a feeling this was going to be happening. As we know, she was one of the hottest women's superstars running up, women's wrestlers, I should say, in the lead up. The feud she had with Britt Baker, she was making a run of things, and then a Crohn's flare-up that I myself am all too familiar with is what kind of hospitalized her. She had to struggle with that. And it reminded me, of course, about how difficult this disease is, and if everyone's wondering, just is it really that bad? Yes, it is. And I'm glad she's recovering, glad she's getting better. I know she's slowly getting back into things, but I think this is the right move for her. And it's a good thing that she's able to get out of the pressures of a contract. Now she has a name. People know who she is. She can work some independence, get it back up, get a little more comfortable with it. I don't know her vaccination status, and it's not to say that she's against the vaccine. It's because people with Crohn's like myself have to consult with their doctors to see if it's completely safe. That was what delayed me getting it initially, is because I had to wait for approval. And when I, running some tests, checking my blood work, said, yes, you're good to go. Got my first shot, got my second shot, and then I was immediately already having to get the booster early before everybody else because Crohn's patients and colitis are immunocompromised. And I'm already on the timeline waiting for my fourth shot. Yes, people like me with Crohn's and colitis, potentially what kind of medication you're using, a fourth shot is on the radar, and unfortunately it may not be the last one that I get. So in a pandemic, it's scary enough worried about losing your job in this, but when you're living with an autoimmune disease, it can be even scarier. To you, Swole, I know you're going to land on your feet. It's in the name. You're strong. You're swole. But for Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week, I do want to shoot you a message. I would love to do an interview with you, not only because I admire you, but also because Tommy got you to send a message to me last year when you were at Mission Pro. If you come through San Antonio, I would love to see you live. But whether we do an interview virtually, in person, where we set something up, please, I would love to interview for this show. I don't think I've gotten to do an interview all year. It's been that crazy. So
remind me about that when we're done. Let me. I'll talk to you about that.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
I do one thing. One thing about that, just to figure out what she pointed out, was like how Tony Khan I'm sure was like, I'm sure Tony Khan would be like, we'll keep paying you. I honestly don't care.
Right.
He was probably like, he's like, you don't have to leave. I'll keep paying you. It's like, do you want someone else's contract? I'll give you someone else's contract literally right now. So, but I feel, I guess that's also kind of the thing for me for the AEW is like, I feel like that was probably a hard thing for Tony. I think Tony Khan I think he has a big heart. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone says, no, he's not perfect. He's not the perfect, guy. Yeah, we would do this, that, and different, whatever. But I feel like he's got a big heart. Like, John Moxley called, hey, I think I should go do rehab. He's like, you know what? Your health is more important than this tournament. Go do that. It's and Swole is like, hey, my chrono's acting up. I don't want to keep having you pay me for nothing. I think I'm gonna take time off. He's like, I would absolutely pay you to do nothing, but if you that's the right decision, okay. So I think that's the right choice for her for everything. And I just hope she starts making some strides to get well, and whatever she decides to do next. I feel like honestly, she's another person. If she can't wrestle, which would be a travesty, but if she can't, she could do something like producing. She could be an agent. She could help the talent because I think she's savvy enough in wrestling to do something else.
Yes, definitely.
She doesn't wrestle anymore.
Before we close out the show, I do want to mention that not only is War Games going on this weekend, I also mentioned before, NWA Hard Times 2, a pay-per-view they're having on Saturday, highlighted, of course, by it's going to be on Fight TV. Check your Fight TV website and app for information on that. Some of the match highlights: Trevor Murdoch defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Mike Knox.
So weird to hear out loud, by the way.
Yes.
To hear NWA World Title and it's not Nick Aldis. Woof. That's
The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship is on the line at NWA. Hard Times 2, OGK defending against Aaron Stevens and JR Kratos. I mentioned already that the Impact Knockouts Championship is also on the line. Mickie James against Kiera Hogan. And Camille is also defending the NWA World Women's Championship against Melina. And there's tons of others. There's 13 total matches on this card. This is a loaded pay-per-view from the NWA. Go check it out if you're interested. I know I am for sure. Might be watching it. We'll see. And then, of course, War Games is this Sunday. We'll see how it is. I'm kind of middle of the road on it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what's up?
Natalia Markova on this show. I'll have to watch that myself.
All right.
Okay. Sorry. She's a sweetheart on Twitter, and she's absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Next week, we're going to be talking all about recapping NXT War Games. Maybe talk a little bit about Hard Times 2 if we got to see it. And then we will preview, potentially for the last time, a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, ROH Final Battle, which already has the tagline, The End of an Era.
Break down crying during the show. I'm just going to let you know it's going to happen. So
We'll talk about Final Battle. We'll share some favorite ROH memories. And over almost 20 years, there's a lot of them, right? So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, who live chatted with us. If you're catching us
check me out at VOW this weekend. I'm bringing out.
Yes, Tommy, bring it out. What day is that? Go ahead and drop the info on that. So
it's December 4th. So December 4th is Saturday. First bell is 7:30.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the pay-per-views coming up this weekend. You can also tweet us at @CCG_WrestleCast. For the Countdown City WrestleCast, I'm JC. Joining me, of course, is Tommy.
Guys.
And Mike.
Thanks, guys. We get to each other.
And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake. Boom.
See you next week.
Recite.